Here we are then, guys, coming through the final couple of corners. We're about to go for the restart here at Singapore. New stream again because the game crashed again. I've just made a few adjustments, changed a couple of things to see if it might help stop it from happening again. Viper's got a good start right up into fourth ahead of Mr. Basil. Senna leads us coming through the first few corners, so it's Senna from Bennett with the Grieve in third place. Little Grievey's got ahead of Mike, and Mike's lost out to Vita and Ultra as well, so Mike's lost out to 3 cars there. Little Grievey, the Mustangs and Vita and Ultra all making their way through. 9 drivers currently left in this Singapore Grand Prix, and Bennett here trying to put the pressure here on Senna. As we can see in the background, you've got Viper now getting ahead of the Grieve, so Breeze has passed him there. Easy pickings there for Viper. Bennett still attacking on the back of Senna, but isn't close enough just at the moment then. But Viper here with his straight line speed will be able to make moves, you'd think, quite easily. But is he going to struggle to keep up in the twisty parts of this Marina Bay Street circuit? It's currently Senna from Bennett with Viper in third place, as they're already gapping the Grieve. Mr. Basil and Little Grievey with the Mustangs on the back of them. Vita and Ultra falling off on the back of them a little bit there in 8th place ahead of Mike. But currently this is the battle for the lead here on lap 12 of this race. And it's been an interesting night so far. Oh, as Bennett gets a bit of a tap and Bennett goes into the back of Senna there. So there was a bit of a chain reaction there, a bit of a domino effect as they all went into each other. Viper now makes the move on Senna, and Senna's not really happy with that because it was Viper tagging him in the first place that caused them all to hit each other. But now you can see Senna here trying to keep it around the outside of Viper. Viper's got a move done here up into 2nd place. And Senna tucks in for the time being, but Bennett's still leading the race at the moment with the Grieve there just behind these 3 ahead of Mr. Basil, the Little Grievey, followed by the Mustangs, Beat and Ultra and Mike. And Little Grievey's made the move on Mr. Basil there up into P5, so he's up in position there is Little Grievey on those medium tyres. Obviously will be wanting to make the most of that grip whilst he can. Bennett out the front on the medium tyres also will be wanting to try and pull away from Senna. Senna's still yet to pit in this race. Bennett and Viper on those mediums also need to come in again, but they should have that pace advantage at the moment as Bennett defends the inside from Viper into turn 1. And Mr. Basil there has got Mustangs down his inside there coming through into turn 3. And Mustangs there actually keeping ahead of Mr. Basil. Mr. Basil a bit of a slide there on the exit, and Mike is out to Vita and Ultra. Now he keeps ahead of him at the moment as Bennett here has lost out to Viper, so Viper now leads the race here. So Viper has managed to get at Bennett somewhere, not sure where. Bennett looking back to the outside here, looking around the outside. He's going to try and make this move as Bennett, and that is a superb move there from Bennett. Oh no! And they've gone into each other. And who was that? Who moved across on who? I'm not quite sure. It's difficult to call that one live, but those two are running in 1 and 2, and it's given Senna the race lead. Unbelievable scenes. Senna now with his teammate Gertie, and obviously crashing out of the race during the bit where we must have disconnected, I imagine. So Gertie, obviously the championship leader out of this race, obviously would have been favourite for the win tonight. But he's leading the race currently. The Red Bull team going to be saving their blushes somewhat if he can win this race. With Viper now down in P5 and Bennett in 7. Those two coming together and presumably triggering another safety car. Oh, for God's sake, are you kidding me? Here we are then, guys, getting ready to go for the restart here at Singapore. I think it's like the 4th restart or something like that. I've lost count, to be fair, but here we come. Senna gets us underway and Little Greavy on the back of him as we restart the race. In fact, Little Greavy, something's happened to him. He's spun coming out the final corner there and he's dropping down the order. So what is going on there? Oh my god, Little Greavy's had an absolute horror show of a restart to this one. It's Senna from Mr. Basil. Mutts Nuts has got ahead of Mike up into 3rd place. Bennett there has moved ahead of Bennett's moved ahead of Mike, and Mike's dropped out. Lost out to Viper to Green V10 Ultra as well. So Mike there down to 8th place. Had a bit of a horror show on this restart. It's Senna from Mr. Basil. Mutts Nuts has got Bennett and Viper right on the back of him here, and obviously Bennett and Viper are going to be looking to try and make pretty seamless progress through the pack here, you'd imagine, being the fact that they've both got the pace to be fighting with Senna at the front. Viper on the soft tyres, so you can see he's going for a short burst. Obviously, he'll be wanting to dispatch these guys very soon because his tyres are going to be very time sensitive at this point, or rather distance sensitive. So they're only going to last a certain amount of time, probably about 6 or 7 laps I would have thought, around a circuit like this. As he looks down the inside here of Bennett, as he pushes him a little bit wide and gets the traction out the corner with those soft tyres, despite having the inside tighter line. That's how good the soft tyres are in comparison to the hards. And Viper there moving himself through up into 4th place. Bennett though trying to come back at him here. Oh, and Bennett pushes him into the wall, and Viper's got terminal damage there. That was maybe a bit aggressive there from Bennett. I gotta say, maybe he just pushed him a bit into the wall there. It didn't leave him any space there on the exit. That was a bit naughty there from Bennett. And Viper is out of the race, and that is massively unfortunate there for Viper. No, I don't think that was his fault, to be fair. Not like Bennett to do a move like that. I've got to say, very unlike Bennett. Very, very unlike Bennett to see him do something like that. The Greaves moved ahead of Bennett coming out the final corner, but Bennett back around the outside has got the run here coming down towards turn 1. And Bennett there around the outside back up into 4th place here ahead of the Greave. But Senna leading but ahead of Mr. Basil at the moment, with the Mutts Nuts there running in 3rd place. I'm very surprised to see that. Maybe it will look a bit different on the onboard, I'm not sure. Maybe Viper, who knows, maybe Viper turned in on him, or maybe Viper just took a bit too much into the corner. But it looked like contact, and it looked to me like Bennett sent it up the inside of him and pushed him into the wall. But I could just be my interpretation of it a little bit wrong. Who knows? The onboards could tell us a different story, but nonetheless, Bennett's now got the Greave fighting him here for this 4th place. As he got a bit of damage on the car, didn't look like he got any damage. He's certainly got his end plates and his front wing intact. So if it is damage, it'd be the suspension. But I doubt it is, to be perfectly honest with you. But I feel desperately for Viper there, because obviously on the soft tyres he was trying to make quick progress through the pack, and he's out of the race here on lap 17. So I guess the nature of the Singapore Marina Bay street circuit is that things like this do happen. He's Viper's not happy with Bennett in the Discord, saying this guy, man. I tried to add the intended tone as much as I could there, but he's not happy. Basically, he's not happy at all with that. But currently Bennett running in P5 is dropping off the back of the Greave. Obviously the Greave on the soft tyres compared to Bennett on the hard, so that's why the Greave is pulling away from him at this point. We've actually got rain starting to fall. Oh, Bennett's crashed out coming under the bridge. Bennett puts it in the barriers there. Front wing's gone. Maybe the rain that's starting to fall, starting to catch people out. It's still slick tyres at the moment, I would say. Still very much slicks needed. But Bennett out of the race. Couple of laps after the collision with Viper, which took Viper out. Bennett has now DNF'd, and we're down to 7 drivers here. And this is a typical Singapore race. And we've got yet another safety car. Says I need to give space when I've done so multiple times, says Viper. Well, it's one of those things, mate. It's unfortunately this track is like that. Most of the circuits that we go to this season are not going to be like that. But that is really, really gutting there, and I'm sorry that happened. But nonetheless, we've got Mr. Basil leading the race with the Mutts Nuts and Senna, the Greave, V10 Ultra Mike, and Little Gibby all coming into the pits. So Mr. Basil has missed his opportunity here to put the inters on. Is he still... I wonder if the pack is still going to be far behind him when they come around to the pits this time around. I reckon he probably will miss the opportunity to do a free pit stop, so he probably will come out of the back after he comes in and puts the inters on. But it's definitely intermediates now. You can see the rain is starting to come down proper here. Of the guys who have changed to the inters, the Mutts Nuts has come out. He's come out actually behind them, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Why are they all changing position? I'm not quite sure. Something strange is going on here. but they don't seem to be moving forward, these guys, at the moment. Mr. Senna, nonetheless, is now the leader of the drivers who have put the inters on. And guys, I guess we'll be back in a bit for the rest of the race. Welcome back, guys. We're here for what's hopefully going to be the final safety car restart here at the Singapore Grand Prix tonight. But something tells me it's not going to be, because we've now got rain on the cards. Not to mention the fact that we're at Singapore, which is the hardest circuit on the game. Not to mention the fact that we've already lost 7 drivers from this race. But also now we've got rainy conditions, which means the visibility is going to be a little bit off. They're going to be sliding around non-stop. And I think there's a very real possibility we might actually have nobody finish this race. You know what? It wouldn't actually shock me that much if everybody crashes out before we reach the full race distance. Nonetheless, we are coming through into the final corner. Got a few comments coming in here, guys. We've got Tony Zero SLR retired. Andrew says we definitely need dynamic weather on ACC, much more fun, so how it can happen and not the same temporary race. Yeah, I will definitely be factoring that in for next season. I'm going to actually put the settings up in the sign-up forms. As the Grieve has made the move here on Senna and V10 Ultra server. The Grieve now leading the race here, coming through the first few corners. Little Grieve has made the move on Mike as well, up into P6. And so, wow, bit of a shake-up here at the start on this restart. But we've got a move being shaped up here. Mr. Basil looking to the inside of the Marks Nuts. Marks Nuts holding there on the outside there. Keeping onto that P4. You can see Little Greavy's managed to get a cut back there on Mr. Basil. Mr. Basil losing out, and Little Greavy up into 4th place now ahead of the Marks Nuts. So good start here from Little Greavy. But Marks Nuts keeping it there on the inside for Raffles Boulevard, and is looking down the inside of a V10 Ultra as well, but too far back. But the Marks Nuts keeping ahead of Little Greavy through that section of the track. But it's currently the Grieve leading the race ahead of Senna in 2nd place. And of the 4 guys who I thought would be contenders for this race victory, the only one left is Senna. and he's currently running behind the Grieve at the moment. The Grieve's showing he's got a good command of these wet conditions here, as Mr. Basil there down the inside of the Mutt's Nuts and gets himself through up into 5th place here ahead of him. But yeah, the Grieve just pulling away a little bit here out the front, seems to be enjoying these slippery conditions. They're definitely his forte by the looks of it. But yeah, Andrew, like you were saying, I'm definitely going to be putting random weather in for next season for ACC, and the server will obviously be set straight away, straight after the races. I'll be setting the servers up, so you'll be able to jump in the server and get a feel for what the weather might be. But obviously, as I say, it'll be random, so you'll have an idea of what the weather might be, but you won't actually know 100%. You might jump into one practice race and it will be wet. You might jump into another practice and it will be cloudy. You know, it will be a sort of a change up. We used to do that actually back in the day, and for some reason I think we had a vote at one point where we ended up switching it to static. But at one point we did actually have it on random realistic weather on ACC. So yeah, I'll definitely be up for changing that, and we'll be 100% looking into that next season. We've got to do it now. Now you mention it, I think it's got to happen. But yeah, nonetheless, we are here on lap 21 of this race here for the Singapore Grand Prix motive. It's currently the Grieve leading ahead of Senna in 2nd place. There's V10 Ultra running ahead of Little Grievey, followed by Mr. Basil. You've got Mutt's Nuts there running in P6 ahead of Mike at this point. But they're just settling down a little bit here in this race. And the Grieve's got just over a second to Senna at this point. Got a lot of cars in a train here. Senna all the way down to Mr. Basil here. 2 seconds separating these 4 drivers at the moment. The Grieve is starting to break away from this train of cars ever so slightly. Well, saying that, Senna's just gained on him a little bit coming through the middle sector here. Gap just ebbing and flowing at the moment, coming down to nearly a second and then up to about a second and a half. It's just up and down at this point. It's seesawing between them. The top 5 though have broken away from the Mutt's Nuts and Mike. Mike's had, I think it's Mike's AI in the car, if I'm honest. But Mutt's Nuts struggling a little bit in these wet conditions at the moment. Andrew says, nice mate, much better means front lads if miles ahead at the start and it starts raining, it'll bring people back into it. And yeah, like you say, you can gamble on some wet tyres, and who knows, it could pay off, it could not. That's obviously the excitement of rolling the dice. Nonetheless, we come back to the leaders as they're coming through the final corner here, about to complete lap 21. We've got 10 laps left to go here at Singapore for the Singapore Grand Prix tonight, round 16 of 21 for this season 5 here on the EA Sports F1 game. Mutt's Nuts there with a 3-second time penalty as he's coming into the pits here in lap 21. Is he putting the wets on maybe going for a bit of a chance, like Andrew said there? Obviously, changing tyres can sometimes be the way to go. It can bring you back into contention here. What's he going to put on? What's going on the car? Looks like it's another set. Oh, it's wet tyres. So Mutt's Nuts first driver on the wet tyres. This is going to be a bit of an experiment. Let's see how he gets on. Could it prove to be an inspired choice? Oh, Senna's making a move here on the Grieve. Around the outside, he's gone. Around Raffles Boulevard, into the right-hander we go. And Senna gets that one done as V10 Ultra tags the Grieve in the rear a little bit there. The Grieve holds on by the skin of his teeth there. Now V10 Ultra's got Little Grieve looking down his inside as well. But Little Grieve has to tuck in because he's not good enough for a run there on V10 Ultra. And it's Senna leading the race now ahead of the Grieve. The Grieve has got pressure here from the Mercedes of V10 Ultra at the moment. Mr. Basil is right there on the back of these guys. They're currently 5 for the lead at the moment in this Singapore Grand Prix, but Senna has gone and seized the initiative here off of the Grieve. The Grieve's still keeping himself on the back of him at the moment, but as I said, with these other drivers behind him, he might struggle to keep tabs with Senna. He'll be focusing more in his rearview mirrors than what's in front of him at this point. V10 Ultra's got the Little Grieve looking down his inside, and Little Grieve's going to make this move. Surely, is he going to be able to complete it? Down the inside he goes. Managed to get on the throttle nice and early there. Little Grieve is just going to squeeze ahead of him here up into the podium positions. There's V10 Ultra there losing out to him. Mr. Basil's still on the back of them right now, but Senna leading the race by nearly a second here ahead of the Grieve. It's opened up a bit of a gap, not much, but he's just got himself a bit of a cushion here at the front of this pack. What an exciting race this is turning out to be here. to come over the line here to start lap 23. You can see V10 Ultra throwing a feint to the inside there on Little Greavy coming into turn 1. But nothing doing there. V10 Ultra's now got a 3-second time penalty as well, which will be added onto his race time by the time we get to the end of the race. So there's gap to the Greavy a little bit over the course of this lap. Little Greavy getting a bit closer to the back of his brother here. He's just creeping closer. You can see in the spray there his teammate. Obviously these two, I think in the first part of the season they were never really racing together on the track, but the last few rounds they have both been turning up to the races. Currently Little Greavy trying everything he possibly can here to get ahead of his brother. Obviously Little Greavy, I'd say between the two of them, in terms of their rivalry, in terms of their teammate battle, I'd say Little Greavy's generally had the edge over the two of them. I would imagine Little Greavy's probably the younger brother by the sounds of it, just by the fact that he's called Lil Greavy, and the Greave obviously implies that I think he's the older brother, but Little Greavy, I'd say generally has had the upper hand in general over the last few seasons, but the Greave currently running in that position. Are they going to be a bit of team orders here? Because Little Greavy seems to have the pace over him.